We built a pool out of a stock tank. It's about to get hot in Austin, and we aren't sure if the pools are going to open this summer. Our kids love to splash around in the pool. I like to float around when I'm done gardening. It was pretty simple, and so I want to show you how we did it. The hardest part of this whole project was actually getting the water trough in the backyard. We got an 8-foot steel water trough. You can get them at any local feed store. We loaded it into a pickup truck and carefully drove it home. When we got home, we rolled it into our backyard, and we had to find the right place for it. We thought about maybe putting it in the shade, or the only other spot in the yard would have been in the sun. We decided to put it in the sunny spot, and if the water gets too hot or we get too much sun, we'll just put an umbrella over it. We're ready to install the pump. We decided to get a sand pump. They're a little bit more expensive than a regular pump, but we have had an in-ground pool before, and with the maintenance required on those pumps, we just decided to get a sand pump because they're lower maintenance. You only have to change the sand out every few years. So, got a sand pump. Now we need to drill holes for the inlet and outlets on the pump to get into the pool water. So for that, we need a 2 3/4 inch drill bit. So I have that attached to my drill. This is the inlet. The inlet needs to go a little bit higher up in the pool. The outlet's gonna go a little bit farther down in the pool. We need to take into account the ribs on the side of the tank and measuring enough space to keep the bit away from the rib, so it's a nice flush seal. We're gonna put the inlets and outlets about 1/4 of the way apart on the tank so that there's some nice circulation in the pool. All right, I made a mark about 1 inch down from the ribs, and that's going to be my guide for the top of the bit so that I know that my inlet is going to be flush and not be sitting on these ribs. Chickens are busy laying eggs in the background. So this is my guide for the top of the bit. Go a little bit lower to get the whole of the bit in, and I'm going to use a nice steady force to get a clean cut. Ready for the outlet valve now. Okay, the holes are cut. I'm going to clean up the edges because they're pretty jagged. So I just have a file. I'm going to clean up any metal that's sticking out here. Time to put the inlet into the holes that we drilled. Put this rubber gasket on the inside. Bleed valve is going to be pointing up. And I'm going to just hand tighten the other nut on the outside. This on-off valve we had to buy separately. Most of the pumps are made for above ground pools, and a lot of the parts are already assembled onto those pools. And so because we're kind of retrofitting a stock tank, we had to piece some parts together. So the outlet, you're probably gonna have to purchase separately. I'm gonna go ahead and install it the same way, the rubber gasket on the inside, hand tighten it down, and then this already came with an on-off valve that goes on the outside of this. Time to fill up the filter with the sand. Need to cover this hole, and purchased a 50-pound bag of sand. I'm just going to fill it and get it a little bit saturated, and then add some more sand to that max level there. All the hoses are connected. The pump is back in its place and all connected. Last step is to clean it out one more time, get all those metal shavings out, and then fill it with water. Here we go. So the pool is all filled up and we're ready to turn the pump on. I did have to make one adjustment. The leaf trap was set on the wrong valve, and so I had to move it down here so that it filters the leaves coming into the pump. Other than that, we are ready to go. I have chlorine tablets floating in the pool, and it's filled up. We can turn the pump on, and we've got ourselves a pool.